This is everyday mindfulness practice. And that means being present in conversations, even just a short one that you might have with a grocery store clerk, by really listening. They say, you have two ears and one mouth for a reason. You need to listen twice as much as you speak. So when you do that, when you're conscious of that, you will bring yourself into the present moment. Noticing sense perceptions, that's a great way to bring yourself, it's like a portal to the present moment. So you can do that right now. Let's take a minute just right now to experience the present moment through sense perception. So just notice, you might want to close your eyes. Just notice how your clothes feel on your body. Just notice that. How do they feel? How does the areas of your skin that are, in the air, touching the air, let's say your hands and your face, how does that feel? Is there any breeze? Is there any air circulating around your face? And then think about where your body is touching the chair. Just notice that. And just in that moment, let's say you were having a stressful moment during the holidays, just give yourself 1 minute to bring yourself back to your senses, coming back to your senses. Jon Kabat-Zinn, who's an expert on mindfulness, wrote a book called Coming to Your Senses. That's really the portal to the present moment. You can do that anytime you like. Being mindful while you're eating, savoring every bite. We're eating way too much during the holidays. You might as well enjoy it rather than eating something and thinking about something else while you're doing it. That's really multitasking, and multitasking is the opposite of mindfulness. And then finally, spending time with pets. Pets are always in the present moment because they don't have a big prefrontal cortex, and so they're just thinking. They don't think about the future. They don't think about the past. They just think about now. And when you pet a cat, like my cat, he would purr, and that would bring me into the present moment too. All right, so formal mindfulness practice, we just talked about everyday mindfulness practice, is meditation. And there are the forms of mindfulness meditation are as easy as pie. Breath awareness, that's just noticing every in-breath, noticing every out-breath, and noticing the gap between the out-breath and the next in-breath. Sounds complicated, but it's really simple. You're just breathing in, you notice that. Breathing out, notice that. Then there's always a gap. And that's where your mind tends to wander, and we'll talk about that in a moment. Sonic meditation is just listening to the sounds in the world. So let's do that for 30 seconds. Just close your eyes if you feel comfortable, but you don't ever have to close your eyes if you don't feel comfortable. And let's just listen to the sounds in the room. What are you hearing in the room? I hear my computer humming. And what do you hear just outside the room? And what do you hear outside the building? And open your eyes, and there, we just had another little quick um, meditative moment. And you can do that for 5 minutes, you can do that for 15 minutes. One wonderful way to do that is to sit next to a stream or a brook, or at night when the rain is falling on the roof. Just listening to those sounds, very, very relaxing. Thought watching is a more sort of high level version of mindfulness meditation, where you're trying to distance yourself from your thoughts. You're trying to watch them come into your head. See, the key philosophical aspect of mindfulness that we really don't have time to get into right now is that the mistake, that the thing that trips us up in life is that we think we are our thoughts. And so if you have the thought, I'm a terrible person, that can be a real bummer, a real downer. But if you can kind of distance yourself and practice this with meditative exercises like the ones I'm recommending right here, you can distance yourself from thoughts like that. And then they don't have an emotional charge to them. They just become a thought that pops like a soap bubble in the air. Pretty interesting and pretty liberating as well. So key thing to do when you're practicing mindfulness meditation is to understand that mind wandering is absolutely part of the process. It's really the practice that mind wandering is part of the practice. When your mind wanders, and then you bring it back to whatever it is you're focusing on, that's really exercising the muscle of concentration. pretty much in the same way you would be if you were doing reps at the gym, right? You're strengthening your muscles. So every time your mind wanders, don't get frustrated, don't get upset. It happens to everybody, even advanced level meditators. Their mind wanders all the time. And so you just, when it wanders, bring it back. When it wanders, bring it back. Every time you do that, you'll get a little bit better at your concentration. All right, so that's step 4. Step 5 is resilience. Now, resilience is really everything that we've been telling people for how to manage stress for decades, right? It's yoga, exercise, meditation, relaxation techniques like deep breathing, progressive muscle relaxation. And yeah, those are all great. Now, the problem is when it comes time for the holidays, people think, oh, well, I like to do these things, but I really don't have time to do them now. And just when we need it most, that's when we do stress management the least. So that's a real problem that we have to overcome, especially at the holidays. So traditional stress management tends to be reactive. It's like, oh, a week from now, you're going to remember, hey, I think I'm going to try that meditation technique that Jim Porter taught me. But that's not really what I want you to do. And that's not what creating a resilience routine is all about. It's about, instead of being reactive, I want you to be proactive, because just like my story, remember my story with the vigorous exercise, the 3 sets of tennis, and the jump in Long Island Sound when it was a little bit chilly in June? All of that gave me instead of doing it reactively, like trying to deal with a bad day. It's almost like putting on a Band-Aid. Instead of doing that, I was proactive about it, and I prevented myself from having stress that day. So you really can do these kinds of resilience activities and prevent a bad day from happening in the first place. And that's really dramatic and remarkable. And the research all bears this out, that people who exercise in the morning, when it's the easiest time to kind of develop a new habit, feel good all day. They feel better all day. And so create a routine that works for you and something that you can do during the holidays. Maybe your compromise is you're going to do a little shorter routine, but don't miss out on your routine. Don't let stress fool you into thinking you don't have time to do this. Now, here's a little routine that you can develop for yourself. It could involve deep breathing. Now, when I teach deep breathing, I tell people to put a hand over their belly button and notice their hand rising on the in-breath and falling on the out-breath. I usually have people breathe in through their nose and out through their partially closed mouth. So let's just do one deep breath. Put your hand over your belly, and if you want to, close your eyes and take a deep breath in. And breathe out. That's it. So I bet you already you're feeling better. I know I'm feeling better. I get to do these things, and they lower my stress when I'm doing these kind of programs. So progressive muscle relaxation, make a fist with each hand. There we go. I'm seeing those fists. And just clench them. And bring your shoulders up to your ears. Clench your face into the tightest frown you can. And then take a deep breath in. Hold all that stress and all that tension for a count of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and let it release. And what the guy, Edmund Jacobson, who developed this approach to teaching people how to get relaxed, which back in the 1930s, what he discovered was when you deliberately tense a muscle, it's going to relax way more afterwards. So that's progressive muscle relaxation. Body scan is just starting from the top of your head, working yourself down through your body, through the classic stress points. Might be the forehead, might be the jaw, might be the shoulders, might be your upper back, lower back. Just scan for any remaining signs of tension, and then you breathe into that. So let's say you had tension in your forehead. Just close your eyes, take a deep breath in, and just notice how the air just travels up through your nose. And it kind of calms your forehead, doesn't it? Yeah, it's a really wonderful thing. So put all these things together with a mindfulness meditation at the end, and you've got yourself a nice little 5-minute resilience routine you can put in place at the beginning of every single day, or use it as a break when you come home from work and you want to start the evening fresh with your family. All right, so that's step 5. Step 6 is social support. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the program, I believe that social support is your most important weapon against stress. If you think about it, what do you rely on in the most difficult times of your life? Let's say you're going through a health crisis or a financial crisis, or you've just broken up with your dearly beloved, whoever that might be. Well, you rely on the help of friends, family, support groups, doctors, counselors, and the like. And all of these things are so important. Now, at the holidays, I think there's a mixed bag with all of this because sometimes we would rather hang out with friends. Sometimes it's really family that we want to be with. Sometimes it's some sort of combination, but part of your family don't like your friends. So it gets complicated at the holidays, and I think we just have to kind of embrace that complication. I mean, we sometimes we have to do things that we don't want to do with the holidays, or maybe the thing that one person loves to do, another maybe younger person doesn't love to do. So we just have to kind of accept the fact, I mean, I've had some of the happiest times at the holidays and some of the most unhappy times at the holidays. There's just this contrast. And I think, mindfulness is all about acceptance of what's going on in the present moment. You can't be in the present moment without accepting what it delivers, right? And so just learning the ups and downs of the holidays, being okay with that is really important. Now, one thing I learned with the onset of the pandemic was that getting together with people online is almost as good as being there in person. And there's so many people that we can't be with. And, reaching out to somebody like a long lost cousin during the holidays, that's a great thing to do because there's somebody that you really just feel like during the regular year you don't have time to. That's the time to do it. And our technology allows us to do that in a way that's very personal now. I'm just so thrilled and grateful for the fact that my daughter, who lives on the opposite coast, we can get together with her in person. Really, I mean, it's virtual person, of course, but it's still seeing the look on her face and the emotions on her face. It's just so important. So who's ever important to you, make sure you reach out to them, even if it's only through technology. And finally, I want to say about social support is that you benefit not only from getting it, but you also benefit from giving it. So really notice that and be aware of that. So that pretty much finishes up my 6 steps. I see Danica has popped onto the screen. So I'm guessing that I've used up my 50 minutes. And I hope I didn't talk too long, and hope everybody enjoyed the program.